Volume.com is a free platform with live stream performances, concert broadcasts, and a video archive that includes performances by 311, Brothers Osbourne, Waylon Jennings, Phil Lesh, Sheryl Crow, and more. Now I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look at my hands for this. I'm gonna have to do the slow blues version on that one. I'm a sucker for a big, nasty vibrato, man.
1, 2, 3.
All right, it is Shred With Shifty false harmonic time. Let's go. Oh yeah, check this out, Shred With Shifty-ites. This is the brand new American-made Fender Telecaster Deluxe Chris Shiflett model Cleaver. We're calling this thing the Cleaver. This is in charcoal frost. It also comes in red. It is out now. Look at that, out now. Go get it wherever you do your guitaring. All right, let's get to the show. Is Zakk Wylde the first bona fide shredder that we've ever had here on Shred With Shifty? We have had some fantastic guitar players. They've all been fantastic guitar players, but Zakk Wylde truly shreds. This guy has a lot going on musically. Of course, you know him from his work with Ozzy. He's been out with Pantera recently doing the reunion stuff. He's got Zakk Sabbath, did those Hendrix Experience gigs, of course, Black Label Society. And I've never really met him or talked to him before. He was cool, man. I really, really enjoyed this. This is Zakk Wylde on Shred With Shifty.
There it is.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
I think you might be the very first, I mean, this show's called Shred With Shifty, but I kind of called it that somewhat tongue-in-cheek. I think you might be the first guitar player that actually lives up to the name of the show, that actually shreds.
Oh, the comedy that never ends. Oh, my.
Yeah. Well, how was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, man?
Oh, it was great, man. I had a good time with everybody, you know. So obviously it was awesome seeing everybody, but it was just, yeah, it was just an insanity fest, man. I mean, just wheeling the bands on, wheeling them off, wheeling them on, wheeling them off. I mean, the guys that did the production were just, I can only imagine the nightmare of that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's always, it's like when you're doing festivals and it's just a line check and you get everybody up there and you got to just hope for the best, man.
Were you guys there all week kind of working it out?
Yeah, we did. We had like a couple run-throughs at out here in LA. After I got done with the Experience Hendrix thing, then went straight out to that.
Yeah.
And then we had like 2 days out here in LA. Then went and met everybody out there for one day, and then knocked it out. Then Sunday I did the national anthem at the Browns game.
Oh, wow.
It was great.
Wow, cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously you played great. I thought it was interesting hearing Wolfie's take on the Randy Rhoades solo that he did, because it was kind of like, it was like the Eddie Van Halen approach to a Randy Rhoades. So, you know, he was doing like throwing in some tapping on some stuff that wasn't tapping, you know, on the Randy. I thought it was really cool. It was like an interesting like take on it.
Yeah, no, Wolfie's great, man. I mean, he killed it. So, you know, Wolfie's awesome, and then you know, then obviously it was great playing with Chad and everything like that.
Sure.
So, and Roberto, obviously, because I haven't played with Robert in a little while, you know,
Yeah.
so, because he's been doing, you know, because we played together with Ozzy, then Black Label, and then, you know, then now he's been out with the Metallica guys forever now. But yeah, it was great seeing Robert again and everything like that, so.
And how come Ozzy wasn't singing?
I mean, it's funny because Ozzy sang Mama the day before because Joey Roll wasn't there. So at rehearsal, Ozzy sang it. But no, it was just I don't know. I mean, it was just I think it was supposed to be. Everybody was supposed to do it was like a tribute thing to the
Right.
boss, that kind of thing. So,
Okay.
well, you know how like Kelly Clarkson was singing with Foreigner with Lou Gramm and
Sure.
just doing, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But like Kelly
Yeah.
was mostly singing the whole thing and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And Demi Lovato sang Jukebox Hero, and I mean, so I think it was more so that kind of thing, more of a tribute kind of thing.
You know, when we went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2021, and we went in at the exact same time as they put Randy in there. And
Very
it
cool.
was, at that same year. And I mean, it's one of like the things that makes me the proudest in my entire music career is that my guitar was next to his in the exhibit,
Oh yeah, totally.
It was like
man. Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's amazing. But they didn't have a tribute to him, like a musical tribute to him. They had a little thing during the show, but they didn't have like an all-star jam. And I gotta say, I was a little disappointed.
Oh, with Randy, when Randy got inducted?
Yeah.
I mean, well, what did they, I mean, I wasn't there. What did they have, a performance clip of, just like Randy's greatest hits kind of thing?
Yeah, if I remember correct, it was some kind of montage thing. But, when I found out that he was going in at the same time we were going in, I called my manager right away. I was like, dude, if there's any kind of like live performance tribute thing, you gotta get me in there. And then there was.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
But yeah, because I remember, even at the thing, they had a thing on the MC5 and they had all these other, bands, but nobody performed. They showed just like, like just a clip, the greatest hits of a clip of them. And then it was on to the next artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
See, if I'm not mistaken, you've lasted longer on and off playing in Ozzy's band over the years than anybody else. I mean, am I right in thinking that you're the longest in his solo band of anybody?
Yeah, I guess I've been the longest one working the deli, making the ham sandwiches, and going light on the mustard.
Well, how have you maintained that relationship over the years? I mean, I was just thinking about it, like, there's, how can I say this politely? There's no shortage of drama between the Osbourne camp and ex-members like Bob Daisley or Jakey Lee or whoever it is. But so how have you sort of maintained your relationship with them?
My relationship, I lovingly refer to, Sharon as mom, because ever since I've been 19 years old, she's been like my mom ever since I've been, I remember we were at the Rainbow one time when I first joined the band. And so she called the Rainbow and had me, she was like, what the fuck are you doing down here? You gotta get the fuck. I was like, I'm sorry guys, I gotta go. My mom just told me I have to go home.
She called the doorman like, check his ID. That guy's only 19.
Oh my God, it's fucking hilarious, bro. But no, it's just, my relationship with Ozzy and Sharon is just like, if they needed me to go over to the house and clean the dog run because they had company, they had to go out for a little while and they had company coming over later. They were like, Zachy, can you go over and clean the house? I was like, yeah, no problem. It's just, that's my relationship with them. So,
Sure.
Yeah, it's bigger than kind of a band thing, you know what I mean? It's just like, like the guys when you're in a band with your buddies, you just call them up and go, guys, can you come over and do this? I gotta knock something out for it now. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of the way it's always been.
Right.
There is no negotiating and everything like that. It's just like, mom's like, she'll talk with Barbara Ann, my wife, and just goes, look we're getting $100. We can only afford to give Zachy $20 on this thing because we got to pay for everything else or whatever. Is that cool? It's like, yeah, of course, whatever you got to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there isn't any attorneys involved. It's just like, look we got $20. You in, you out. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm in. Oh, don't worry about it. If you get, if that's what you got, that's what it is. I'll be over there on Tuesday. Don't worry about it.
Right. Gotcha. So when you first joined Ozzy's band, I remember just assuming you were a Randy Rhoades guy, like we all
Yeah, of course.
were, of course.
Who is it? Anybody in our genre, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's just Randy's the guy.
Of course, but clearly there's like a lot of like Southern rock and just other heavy guitar playing, heavy music influence in your playing. So When you were coming up, when you were growing up and learning to play, who would you say your main lead guitar influences were?
I mean, I'd say Frank Marino, Al Meola, John McLaughlin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, without a doubt. But Frank Marino was huge. First time I heard my guitar teacher, Leroy Wright, was the one that turned me on to Frank Marino because he was a huge Hendrix guy, and then he turned me on to that. But I mean, obviously Tony Iommi too.
Sure.
I mean, so because usually it's always your favorite band, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but Tony Iommi, without a doubt, Tony Iommi. Then obviously Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
And then, but then once I started taking guitar lessons, Leroy, and obviously Randy Rhoades. So I mean, it was just, and then obviously King Edward. I mean, Eddie and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, for me, it was always. I mean, I was more, when it was King Edward and Randy. I mean, I was always just because Randy was with Ozzy, and I was just, because I was a huge Sabbath guy.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and I just loved those records. You know what I mean? Blizzard and Diary, and then when Jake joined the band, we were like, we all loved Jake. You know what I mean? So it was just.
And let's not forget, Brad Gillis. Nobody ever for some reason that Speak of the Devil record isn't in the streaming. So I don't know if people have forgotten about that record.
That album's amazing.
It's so good. That everybody had that record. Yeah, Brad Gillis, a monster guitar player.
But Brad's amazing, and he has his own voice.
Yeah.
Like him and Jeff Watson were amazing.
Yes.
Yes. Because I mean, you're really two distinctly guys. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Between Brad and Jeff.
Yeah.
Two distinct styles, man.
Yeah.
So
Both rippers.
within 2 notes, you already knew who was playing, whether it was Brad or Jeff. And it didn't matter whether Brad was using a whammy bar or not.
Right.
Just them playing, just their touch and everything like that. You knew who it was.
Yeah, the Super Strat and the Les Paul. Did you take a lot of lessons growing up?
Yeah, my guitar teacher Leroy was amazing. Because, he would show, give me chords and everything like that, the Ted Green's chord chemistry and everything like that, and all that stuff. But, the breakdowns of learning songs, you know what I mean? It's just like learning it, lick to Back in Black, and then, figuring out, oh, wow, that's how it works, then, and the breakdowns of the scales and how it works. And because otherwise it's just a whole bunch of parts laying on the ground.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where, it's just a car engine on there, but where you go, no, this part goes here because it all makes, it all works together.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a matter of trying to figure it out, and just going, oh, okay, that's how it works. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, he was great in that regard. Leroy was awesome. So, but he was, and then he would be the one that turned me on to all these amazing players. Whether it was Frank Marino, then Robin Trower, then obviously Mahavishnu Orchestra and John McLaughlin. I mean, if I wasn't a guitar player, I would have none of these bands would have been on the radar.
Yeah.
And then finding out about Al Meola and all this other stuff, aside of the guys that I liked, whether it was Tony Iommi, Jimmy Page, Randy Rhoades, and then it was then finding out about John McLaughlin and Al Meola and Frank Marino, was like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it was just, he was amazing in that regard, and then finding out about all these guys. And then Leroy, all his buddies, they were like bricklayers by day. And then at night when they'd get together and jam, they'd be playing Dixie Dregs, like Steve Moore's stuff and everything like that. But I mean, ridiculous. I mean, so, what other bands were doing top 40 bands, top 40 stuff. These guys were playing like Mahavishnu, Dixie Dregs. It was pretty insane, man. Without a doubt.
That's really funny. You don't think of a dude that's a bricklayer getting off work and cracking a few cold ones with his buddies to jam some Mahavishnu.
No, I mean, pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in those days it was harder to figure out the sort of real exact specific things people were doing on record because we didn't have the internet and we didn't have the ability to slow things down and keep it in pitch and all that sort of stuff. And maybe that's why people developed their kind of signature styles more because you're sort of taking what you could get off somebody's record, but it was always a little bit your own thing at the same time. When you were, before you were in Ozzy's band, did you have all that Randy Rhoades stuff worked out?
Yeah, of course. All of us learned in it. You know what I mean? I think every one of us And like, same time with Dimebag, those clip early, when Dime was like 16, so he's still, we were all jamming Randy stuff, you know what I mean? Or everybody's trying to learn Eruption and
Right.
everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or any Eddie solos and stuff like that. So, yeah, before I started playing with Ozzy, yeah, it wasn't like I was, coming in, I had to learn the stuff to go join the band. I was already,
Right.
I was already, like a fantasy camper going in to play with Ozzy when I was, when I got the audition.
Yeah. I was watching that Sebastian Bach documentary that came out not too long ago, and there's this crazy scene in there where it's like the moment that he got discovered by Skid Row or whatever, and he's singing at a wedding that's in New Jersey, and on guitar is Zakk Wylde. Yeah, a very young Zakk Wylde.
Yeah, no, I remember that was at Mark Weiss's wedding. No, totally.
Is that before you joined Ozzy, or was that after you joined Ozzy?
I had just auditioned for Ozzy.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean? So, but I still didn't have the gig. They didn't announce it or anything like that because at that point, I was getting ready to go to England because Sharon told Barbara, and she was like, "Well, we just want to see if Zakk can write and everything like that." So it still wasn't, like I got the gig or anything like that.
Right.
So then we went to England and then we started. Actually, the first song I wrote with Ozzy was "Miracle Man."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what was it like writing with him? What was that process like? You come in with the riff, and then he puts words and a melody to it. Is it the two of you in a room together with an acoustic guitar? Like what? How?
Yeah, it was with Randy and Phil Susan and everything like that. And John Sinclair. We were over in England. Yeah, we were just jamming that riff, and then Ozzy, then when we were doing, Oz was like, well, "Where do I sing?" I said, "Randy's here. Why don't we just stop right here, and then Oz just come in with the vocal."
Right.
And it's amazing because like Ozzy, almost every vocal he's ever come up with has always been first take. Like the first thing he starts singing is the melody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, usually always. That's why he's like the king of the melody. I mean, I don't know whether it's just Beatles influence or whatever, but I mean, it's just like all those melodies. And I could only imagine when he was doing like I Don't Know and everything like that. It'd be like, dan, digga, 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 dan, digga. It's like, all right, well, what are you going to sing over that?
Right.
And then Ozzy, first thing off the top of his head, people not do me, I'm in the end, it's like, wow. Yeah, I mean, like, first that. And I mean, it's pretty mind blowing because, I mean, Oz isn't a musician.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't go like, oh, let's go to C and then go to E minor, for the chorus.
Right.
And then go back to the riff in E. But like, why don't we go to C for the chorus? And he doesn't know. He's just like, he might sing a thing in his head, like, or, the riff's already be there. And he's just like, all right, just play that again. Let me sing something over that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it's Mom, I'm Coming Home or anything. No More Tears, same thing,
When you first started playing with him, did you ever go in, and now you can find a lot of this stuff on YouTube, isolated tracks, but did you ever go in and crack open the master tapes of those early records and isolate things to kind of hear what was going on and listen to the sort of the details?
No. I mean, I never even knew any of that existed. You know what I mean? You just kind of listen and try and hear the parts. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I never had access to the 2-inch reels of Diary or Blizzard. I mean, or Bark at the Moon or anything like that.
It's funny because that's like a thing we do now with with Foo Fighter records. We've digitized everything, and so if we're learning a song that was on an album 15 years ago, and I don't remember, with the 3 different things that I played on it, I'll just have one of our engineers will send me the mix. Isolated tracks.
Yeah, which is great because then you can dial in when I play there.
Exactly. Anyway, I was just, it's one of those things I always wondered about. There's long been internet rumors that there's just a vault of live videos of Randy Rhoades playing that the world has never seen. All that stuff. You just wonder what's in there.
No, I don't think there's any footage. I mean, the footage that we all see, I think is the only footage that's out there. I don't think, because they never professionally shot a live gig,
Right.
Which is pretty crazy because you got to figure Diary, they were doing arenas at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, if they just started and they were doing clubs and they didn't really think about it, but it's just like, that Diary tour was huge.
Yeah. And there's
You know?
just so little footage out there. There's like that,
No.
there's that Texas sound check, and there's a couple of things here and there, and some of it doesn't even have audio, and it's just, if
Yeah, and then and the audio's skipping, and it's
Yeah.
coming in and out, and,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, but I think all the footage of Randy is all the stuff that we've all seen, you know, that would go on the internet, YouTube, Ozzy and Randy live, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just where you get, you know, the CDs, you know, the live recordings.
Yeah.
But which is always great to hear, you know.
All right, well, let's talk about Miracle Man. So Miracle Man was off your very first record with Ozzy, No Rest for the Wicked. And I was thinking about it, coming in, you were so young, like we already talked about, you're following in the footsteps of Randy Rhoades, Jake E. Lee, Brad Gillis even, you could even say Tony Iommi, whoever, all these amazing
Bernie
legendary...
Torme,
Yeah.
that's who I saw.
Oh, right. Oh, really? You saw that show?
Yeah, I saw Bernie. I saw him before Brad.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow. With
Yeah,
was that
and then
with
we
Pete
just did
Way?
a festival. We did a festival not that long ago over in Europe, and it was with Oz when we were doing before COVID, right before COVID,
Yeah.
when we were doing the No More Tours 2 thing, and Bernie was there. So and it was just like Ozzy and Bernie hadn't seen each other since that tour, since Dying.
Oh, my God. Wow.
And yeah, because I saw him at the Garden, you know, because we were supposed to see Randy and everything like that, being from Jersey. So, but Bernie Torme, and Bernie was just, I was telling him how amazing it was, and you know,
Wow.
there wasn't a dry eye in the house because everybody was like, Randy's in the building, man. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and how much he crushed it. You know what I mean? So he was like, "Oh, thanks, Zakk." You know, but yeah, and then I brought him back to see Ozzy, and they were like, "Oh my God," you know, because I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." The two of them hadn't seen each other since they did that run and that when you know Bernie came in for a little bit before Brad.
Well, so what was that like? You know, particularly when you were crafting guitar solos on that first record. Like, how did you deal with that pressure? Did you feel that pressure?
No. I mean, to me, it was just like playing for the New York Yankees. You know, now you're a Yankee, so. And you know what's expected out of you. I mean, Aaron Judge is finding out right now. So, you know, but I mean, now he'll be fine. But I mean, it's just like, you know, what's expected out of you as an Ozzy guitar player. You know, because at the bar that Randy set, there's lights out. So then, you know, Jake had to come in there and win championships. You know, that's your job as the guitar player. So. No, I mean, to me, I was like, I was in my favorite band, so it was just amazing.
Right.
You know, so no, I didn't feel it wasn't any pressure. You know, I would just sit and write, you know, the solos coming from, you know, from the St. Rhodes School of Guitar Soloing. You know, Randy would sit down and work it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like Hotel California or Stairway to Heaven, just make sure, you know, it's it has a beginning and a middle, and then you close it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's part of the song.
Yeah.
You know, because with Randy solos especially, it's just like, and Jake, it was just like, it doesn't matter whether you're playing it or I'm playing it or Dime's playing it or Joe Holmes or Gus or Brad or Bernie Torrent. You got to play the solo the way it is on the record. You know what I mean? It's just like the same thing when I'm doing the Pantera thing now, you know, the celebration thing. When I'm playing Walk or you're playing I'm Broken, you just sit and learn the solo. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're playing it or I'm playing it or any of our buddies are playing the I'm Broken solo or Walk. You got to play what Dime wrote, you know, because it's like a Randy-esque
It's a part.
solo in regards that it has parts.
Yeah.
So I would just sit and work it out. You know, I still do that to this day.
Yeah.
So I just get my homework CD, you know, I'll sit in the Vatican like I'm sitting right now, and I'll work it out until I get something I like, you know?
Well, before we break down, get into the weeds on the solo, can we talk a little bit about pinch harmonics and how you play your pinch harmonics, false harmonics?
Oh, well, just, you know. well, I mean, obviously, but it's just like, it's weird. I remember, like, the first, because my guitar teacher, Leroy, I was just like, well, with Billy Gibbons,
Yeah.
I was just like, what is that? What is he doing there? And I remember when Leroy showed me that, but it was just like, and then obviously if you want to use the wah-wah pedal and, certain things like that, it would be like, if you step on it, just breaking the strings down, and you're doing a.
And what kind of pick are you using?
Usually the Dunlops. These are the I love these guys. The Ultex.
Okay.
And it's kind of got like a.
Oh, gotcha.
Pointier.
Yeah.
Edge, but I remember when we did No Rest for the Wicked. I remember I was using a metal pick.
Oh, really?
I actually used a metal pick on that one. Yeah. I mean, I'd be blasting through strings like it was nobody's business. Not breaking them.
Yeah.
Just killing them. I mean, you can see how much you just beating the hell out of them because, with the metal pick. But no, I end up using these Ultex. I mean, when I tried these just because of the point on them, I was like, oh, these are great. They feel great.
You're not using a Jazz 3 or one of those things. I think of like
I use like Darrell uses one of the little tiny guys.
Yeah.
I can't use. Those are too small.
Right.
Like the Jazz picks.
Yeah. Because you're a big dude. I bet that pick you're using is like the same size as a Jazz 3 is for me.
Okay, well there you go.
It's all relative. All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts of this guitar solo. So I should let people know we are tuned down a half step. And do you remember exactly which guitar and amp and pedal combination you used for this?
Yeah, probably. I was using a JCM 800, and then it was the Boss ST1 as was the distortion pedal I used.
Okay. So do you have the amp clean and then the pedal kind of driving it, or is that?
No, I had the overdrive all the way, the master all the way to 10, and the volume was probably around, 2, 3, same thing I do nowadays, 2, 3, so, and then just step on the distortion pedal and off you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because with the JCM 800 or the JMPs, with those tops, it's amazing because, the other heads that go on, whether it's the Saldanos, the Mezzo, they're all great amps. I mean, it depends on what you want. You want a banana, you want an apple, you want an orange. They're all great, and they're delicious yet nutritious. So I mean, it doesn't matter. So they're all healthy and they're organic. Yeah. So I mean, but the whole thing is it's just preference. It's whatever you're in the mood for.
Yeah.
Because they're all great and they all work. But it's amazing how much. No, the 800s, it's just, a lot of people will play through my rig, and I mean, they'll be like, my Wild Audio heads, when we started making them, the design on that, it's just, I mean, an 800 is kind of pretty much like Levi's and a Fruit of the Loom t-shirt. It just never goes out of style.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can wear it till you're 90 years old. I mean, it's t-shirt and jeans. It just never goes out. So, I mean... But, and it's simple. It's just a simple design. I mean, because I think half the time you get past 6 on a JCM 800 or a JMP.
Yeah.
It doesn't even, it's like, did you turn it up at all? You're like, I didn't do anything. It's just like, they don't even work. I'm just saying, like, it's just like, you just plug it in, you turn it on, you turn it up, and it sounds good. So there's not a lot of fuss about it, but
this solo sounds like a little chorusy, like it's double or even triple tracked. Is it?
I always double the guitars.
Oh, it's double.
Except for No More Tears, but I mean the actual song. But yeah, Miracle Man, Crazy Babies, I mean everything that's on that record. Demon Alcohol, everything's doubled.
Gotcha. Yeah, because there's points in there where it sounds like, in that same way that some of those, like all those Randy Rhoades solos sound like there's things that are
Yeah, the even like an eventide on there or
Right.
something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A pitch shift.
right.
But but that's when you double it. Obviously, it gives you a natural chorus. So I don't use it as a chorus pedal per se because when you double the guitars, it's already giving you a natural chorus.
And which guitar were you playing? Was it the
Probably the Grail at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, just a Les Paul custom.
Gotcha.
My cream one with the bullseye on it.
All right, well let's get into it. So it opens up around the 12th fret, right, with that repeating pattern. How are you doing that?
Was it 12, 9, 14?
Gotcha. All right, so with that big fast lick to close it out at the end, are you picking every note?
Yeah, picking it all.
And then so is that like when you were doing that, were you thinking, were people even talking about alternate picking and economy picking and all those things at that? Like, I don't remember ever hearing that when I was
Well, I mean, you got to remember,
80s.
Yngwie was already just destroying the planet
Sure.
at that point. You know what I mean? The Yngwie meteor had already hit.
Yeah.
But I mean, so Yngwie was picking everything. So, no, but I mean, to me, that's a John McLaughlin thing and Frank Marino.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? You listen to any of that Mahavishnu stuff, it's John McLaughlin and Jerry Goodman, on the violin, and then you got Jan Hammer on the keyboard.
Right.
They were crushing all that. You listen to those early, on the records and the live recordings of Mahavishnu, it's lights out, man.
So that's alternate picking the way you're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, just it's backwards, forwards.
Wow, yeah. I noticed you've got your wrist at a pretty tight angle. Like, is that how you do that live?
I just that it just I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just for me. It's just that's the way it's always been. Almost kind of like, it looks like a talon on an eagle or something like that. Because
Right.
it's just instead of it being straight.
Yeah.
So that's why I always tell everybody. I mean, like Eddie Van. I mean, King Edward would always hold the pick like this. Then he'd be like this. I don't know how he does it like that.
Yeah.
Holding a pick like this. I'd always be like this, but I think I think the only other one I know that actually has his hand at that kind of angle is Marty Friedman, and Marty's amazing.
Right.
But Marty picks everything too.
What does that do for the angle of the pick when you're picking? Is it kind of almost like
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's just because I mean, I've even heard some people who do it like, bro, how do you pick like that or whatever? It's just like to me, it's not. To me, I don't know. I mean, it's just like. I mean, that's what it's always been.
Yeah. All right. For the people watching, there's no shortcuts. Pick every note.
Yeah, totally. So that's what That's what it is.
For the ending of the second time through that you do those couldn't tell if it was like bends or if you're just like something like that.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's with the wah-wah pedal.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing. Then obviously you got gotta get Richie Blackmore in there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So he got
Yeah.
everything comes from. It's just another cooking ingredient, it's like, boss, hand me the Richie Blackmore pepper sauce over there. Yeah. Put that in the soup,
Right, yeah.
It's all our ingredients of all the guys we love. It's a little Jimmy Page over here, a little Richie Blackmore, a little St. Rhodes. We got to put a little bit of King Edward in there,
Well, speaking of King Edward, what is that thing you do where don't you do like a kind of a... What is that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a pain in the ass doing it
It's
that
hard.
way. But like even with Dime, with with doing it that way. I mean, live, I'll go. You know what I mean? With as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean that thing. I mean, that's what it is. But I mean, you could obviously, live, you could even, I mean, if you want,
Right.
I mean, it's funny I did it that way, but it's more of a pain in the ass than anything. You know what I
Right.
mean? To do it live, I mean, sitting down is one thing.
Yeah.
Stand up, it's that same thing with Dimes, with the echo thing that Dime does, I mean, I end up doing it standing up. It's just me trying to doing it standing up with the guitar hanging. It's just more of a pain in the ass than anything.
Sure.
So it's just like, live. I mean, you can. I mean, I've seen people. But that's what it is, though.
Ah, got it. So once you get up to the whatever that is, 22nd fret or whatever fret that is, then you keep bending the left hand, huh? Ah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's badass.
So
Yeah. So that next thing. So okay, the way I was playing it. I can see now that what you're doing. I was doing it wrong. I was taking a shortcut and bending it.
Yeah, that'll work too. I have to get the diminished the Randy thing in there.
Oh wow, what's that? Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just, I didn't put not the pinky note in there.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
There it is.
There it is.
So, like you said. They all work. It just depends on whatever one you want to do.
Right.
Whatever mood you're in.
Yeah.
And then obviously at the end, just vibrato in it at the end.
Vibrato, yeah.
And I got that from it's Foxy Lady. I mean the fingering.
Oh wow,
yeah. Yeah. Once again, you go. It's all the ingredients you learn.
Oh, I love it, man.
From all your years of playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like me and you going. It's like Anthony Bourdain. The cook guy.
Yeah.
The chef. It was just like he was going around the world. You try different things. Where me and you, when we put on our pizza, we put some like Thai peanut sauce or whatever. Because we were in Thailand eating some chicken skewers, and you're like, Zakk, what happens if we put some of that on our pizza? I'm like, man, it tastes amazing. Cilantro, some of the peanut sauce, we put that on the pizza, and you're like, oh my God, this is insane. You know what I mean? A little bit of sour cream.
Yeah.
It's just that's what I always tell kids. It's just like it's everything that you learn.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Eddie thing, a Randy thing, a Jimmy Page thing, a Tony Iommi thing. It's just all your knowledge. And, like when you're making the records, production wise, you go like, Zakk, what's that, on the end of that one song, on with Sabbath, how it ends with the with the delay. I go, yeah. He goes, let's do that on the end of one of our songs. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because you always reference things.
Oh, yeah.
From what you've learned.
Sure. That's a big part of making a record, is sort of going, wait, there was that one song I heard in 1981. Who did that again? Yeah, we got to get that chorus sound on the backup vocal. Yeah, just those little details.
I agree.
Right? Yeah.
Because even listening, it'd be like the three of us listening in the tour bus up in the front.
Yeah.
And we're all drinking and hanging out, just sitting, solving the problems of the world. While we're listening to everything, whether we're listening to Pink Floyd, Elton John, the Eagles, whatever, solving the problems of the world. But while we're digesting all that music, you're learning. No, because it's just knowledge you're just swallowing.
Yeah.
So that's what I always tell everybody. Even the more music you're listening to, it's just going into your DNA.
Well, it's funny, sure. even that, whatever that effect is, I don't know what it is on that, the part of the guy going like, Miracle Man.
Oh, yeah. No, that's me doing that through it. It's a vocoder.
Ah, okay.
And I think it was on a keyboard, but I did it through a microphone, and I think I did the.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But it wasn't a talk box, but it was like, it's a keyboard thing, but that's what Miracle Man.
Yeah.
And that's me doing it.
It's funny, just listening back to it, trying to figure the song out, like it felt just a little reminiscent of Subdivisions, by Rush, like, that one, Subdivisions.
Oh, yeah, Subdivisions.
Yeah, totally. I loved it.
Yeah. Which I love that record, by the way, anyways. Yeah. But yeah, totally. But that Miracle Man, but that's what it was. It wasn't a talk box. It was going through John Sinclair's keyboard, his synthesizer, and then he just put distortion on it.
Gotcha.
And that's what made it Miracle Man, but I'm just...
Yeah, dig it.
That kind of thing.
Let's get into some questions from the people. We got some fan questions here. And this first one from It's TK, you kind of already covered, but maybe you could talk a little more about it. It says, ask him about the Pantera reunion and playing Dime's parts.
No, it's truly a blast. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, it's really it's a beautiful thing that the guys created, because you just see everybody that's there. I mean, I'm just saying that everybody that's connected to that music. Because, to me, Pantera is more, it's a side of the music, like Harley Davidson or whatever. It's more of a cultural thing as well. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that extreme metal community, and they were, and they're the Led Zeppelin, the Sabbath, the Stones, the Beatles of that genre.
Right.
Hands down. But, they're the gold standard bearer of that style of music for sure. But no, it's so great because you have the Pantera faithful that saw Pantera when they were playing clubs in front of 4 people, and then you have all the new kids that only heard of the legend of Pantera, that never got a chance to see Dime and Vinny because they were only like 5 years old when the band, when they took a break. So, so it's truly a beautiful thing because Phil will say it every night. He's like, how many people, that have seen Pantera back in the day or whatever? And you'll have, obviously the Pantera faithful raising their hands. And then you have Phil ask, how many people this is the first time hearing these songs live? It's got to be 75, 80% of it's just younger kids that never got a chance to see Pantera back in the day. So it's truly a beautiful thing. And then, and doing it with Charlie and obviously with Phil and Rex, we've known the guys forever. So, and, everybody in the, being out with the band, I mean, crew guys, you've worked with them in different bands in one form or another. So it's really great being together. It's really like a family vibe.
Ah, that's cool.
With everybody out there. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah,
every
nice.
night.
Okay, my next question is a celebrity question. It's guitar player Zakk Blair from the band Rise Against asks, can you please ask Zakk Wylde if he has an SD1 as an always on and then another in front of him as a lead boost?
No, not as a lead boost, but I mean, now I use, it's with my pedals, with the, this is one of the older ones, but the ones that Jimmy and the guys make for me.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's basically, yeah. So it's just, it's the same thing. It did what my SD1 did, but it's got more bottom in it and stuff like that. But the beautiful thing about, I think the reason why so many people love, before I started doing my, the Berserker Overdrive and everything like that with Jimmy and the guys, why everybody always loves the Tube Screamer or the SD1, the Boss SD1. It's just because it doesn't change the sound of the amp. It just gives you more of what you already have. Whether you're using a Soldano, whether you're using a Mesa a dual rectifier, whether you're using a top hat, or you're using a Marshall JCM 800, or any amp you're using, a Fender Twin Reverb, it won't change the sound of the amp.
Gotcha.
It just gives you more of what you already have. If you want some more sustain, because otherwise, the 800s and the JMPs, if you're playing Highway to Hell or Back in Black, it'll give you that. And I'm just saying with it all the way up, no feedback.
Yeah.
But if you're going to solo, there's not a lot of sustain.
Yeah.
It's just going to die.
Yeah.
It still sounds great if you want to play at a low volume.
Yeah.
And clean it up. But if you want the sustain and you want to do Miracle Man, or you want to do No More Tears and get the pings to pop, because the harmonics and everything will come out once you have the distortion pedal on.
Yeah.
But and like you said, there is no right and there is no wrong. Like the Big Muff, Electro Harmonics, a Big Muff, it has its own sound, but it definitely whatever amp you're using, it sounds like a Big Muff. It overpowers everything.
Sure.
So, but if that's the sound you're looking for, it's awesome. It's unbeatable for what it does.
Yeah.
But but with my pedal, it's just like the SD1. But I never had two of them. If I'm using that thing, that's what I got for. That's all I need. I don't need another one for solos.
Right. Gotcha. Okay, Gil Van Peebles asks, I want to know what was going on backstage in Russia when they played that huge festival in the 90s and he was still a fresh-faced baby Zakk.
Wait, now what are they asking?
He wants to know, I think what he's getting to is what kind of wacky hijinks were going on backstage at that festival in Russia.
Oh, at the Russia thing? Well, I was hanging with Snake's Dave over at, in Skid Row. Yeah. I've known Dave. Me and Dave knew each other at this place called Garden State Music in Toms River, which is still there.
Oh, wow.
But it was like an amazing music store. They were the first ones to get like the Randy Rhoades, the Black Concorde and everything like that. It was like, oh my God. Yeah, I think they might have had like number 15. It was just like pretty crazy.
Oh, wow.
But it was a great music store, but Dave used to drive like an hour and a half from Sayreville to get down there to work. It was just like, it was crazy. But no, it was an amazing music store. But I knew Dave since then, before the Ozzy gig and before Skid Row.
Sure.
But yeah, so me and Dave were just hanging. It was just like, oh my God, this is like insane. We were hanging at Garden State Music in New Jersey and Toms River, and now we're in Russia. You know what I mean?
Right,
and Skid Row's doing great, and I'm playing with Ozzy. It was pretty surreal.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Dave had a blast there.
Okay, one last question for you, and thank you for being so generous with your time today, buddy.
No problem.
It's been fun. Good old Chaz asks, is there such a thing as too many pinch harmonics?
No, it depends on. It's like saying, is there such thing as too much Tabasco? I don't know. If you like Tabasco, then just pour the whole friggin' bottle in.
I like it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess somebody was saying they had. I guess they were playing a board game. It was a drinking game. Every time, like on a Black Label album or Ozzy record that I had a pinch harmonic, you had to have a shot.
Yeah.
They were like, bro, we'd be blasted halfway through an Ozzy record or
Yeah,
something like
right,
that, you
yeah.
know, or a Black Label album. Completely legless halfway through an album. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what you want to do with it, man.
Yeah. Good answer. Perfect answer. Well, Zakk, thanks for coming and doing this today, man. I appreciate
All
it.
right, man. It was great talking to you fellas, man.
That was so feeble. That was Zakk Wylde right here on Shred With Shifty. We'll be back next time with Molly Tuttle. Adios, amigos.
1, 2, 3.
Shred With Shifty is created and hosted by me, Chris Shiplin, and produced in partnership with Double Elvis, Volume.com, and Premier Guitar. Shred With Shifty is produced by my long-suffering friend, Jason Shadrack. Our executive producers are Brady Sadler and Jake Brennan for Double Elvis. Our video editor is Addison Savan. Graphic design by Megan Prawley. Engineering support by Matt Tahaney and Matt Bowden. Special thanks to Chris Peterson, Jamie Demas, Greg Necrone, Ben Holst, John Romero, and the entire Volume.com crew.